They are emasculated, are they, by women? That's what we do to them.
It isn't what women do to men. It is something more fundamental than accuracy. So around 15 years ago, I went to a seminar up in London at a Lacanian centre. And somebody called Jean-Jacques Bernstein from Paris came over. And he was talking about Lacan's idea from Freud that men think of themselves through their genitals, okay, which is the penis and the phallus. And so men actually think like that. And Bernstein made this incredible comment, and he said, that's why men are dickheads. Okay? Now, I took that away as something way more profound than men being dickheads. What it told me was that women can give birth to children. Men will never do that. Women have a relationship with the earth and with cooking in their stereotypes. Men rarely do. Men don't have a fundamental relationship with life. They have short, shriveled phalluses for most of the time. They can't experience sexual pleasure like women can. They are inferior. They can't give birth to a child. They don't know what giving birth to life means. Men, psychologically and biologically, do not have a relationship with life. That's why they are terrified of women. It's not about emasculation. It's about the fundamental biological, psychological makeup of men. They are terrified. They are inferior species.
Hello fam, how are you all doing? I hope you all are good. Let's have a look at the comment section. This explains everything. This is why they created patriarchy. Explains so much. Thanks for sharing. I totally agree, but I do know that many of these concepts could be properly taught to men, or men could teach themselves if they really tried. I've been saying this for years. To go deeper, men are innately scared of women because we can do everything they can do, but they can't do everything we can do. That is grow and birth life. They are inferior species. That's why the patriarchy is here. I've always said that men have an ingrained jealousy towards women's ability to give birth. Men cannot understand love, so they react negatively to it because they don't think they deserve it. Women are life givers and men are life takers, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Women pour into you and men are leeches by nature. I have been preaching this to any friend who will listen. Men are terrified of women's ability to create and sustain life. Womb envy theory, the origin of misogyny. They are not inferior by nature, but most men have strayed so far from their real purpose, which is to be sons of God, made in his image. This person is being religious. The patriarchy system conditions men to disconnect from their own core understanding and connection to nature order of matriarchal system. That's why men are so obsessed with playing God. Can't you see how they are fighting so hard to be women now? I'm not surprised. Men are biologically hardwired to share their body with another organism that will feed off it. That's why they can't empathize or handle pain. They are jealous of the power of women giving birth just cause they can't. As a woman, we intuitively know this. That's why we always warn each other that men think with their small heads. Of course, he's scared of women. Look at him. He looks like a lesbian man, but yet is sim. Men created other problems in the world, from war, religion, abuse to political corruption. Almost every problem in this world was and is created by men. Men are attracted to women, but they don't like us.
Who the heck taught us that the sperm does so much when it does so absolutely little? Mind-blowing facts about the sperm versus the egg. Are you ready to have your mind freaking blown? Why is there this idea that it's the sperm that turns into a human? Like a lot of people make the joke, I was the sperm that won. Did you know the sperm does 1% of the whole job of creating the human? The egg does 99% of the entire job. So it's not about the hundreds of millions of sperm, it's about the one egg. The egg is the one. The egg is 8,000 times larger than the sperm in volume. 99.99% of all the volume of the whole entire creation of the human was from the egg. The real contribution of what a sperm does is it gives 50% of the DNA and 23 of the 46 chromosomes. So it shouldn't be undermined, it's an important role. But the egg does 99.9% of everything. Here's an analogy for how much the egg does versus how much the sperm does. The egg and the sperm came together and each drew up the blueprint of the human together. And then the egg hired all the workers, all the materials, created the whole construction site, made sure everything happened the way that it needed to happen. Essentially, the only part that the sperm played was talking about how the human was going to be created at the beginning. And then the whole execution, 99.9% of everything else, was done by the egg. Here's some stuff you don't know about that the egg does. The egg contains the entire cytoplasm, which is all of the machinery, the nutrients, and the organelles that kick off the development. And get this, you know how the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell? All of your mitochondria comes from the egg. All of it. 0% of your mitochondria, the powerhouse, comes from the sperm. So the powerhouse of the cell comes strictly from mother and not at all from father. Also, the epigenetic and developmental influence comes almost strictly from the mother, very minorly from the father or the sperm. So never think you were the sperm that won the race. Think that you were the egg that is the powerhouse of everything. You came from woman mostly. So now that you understand you were mostly the egg, put this into consideration. The egg that was later to become you was sitting in your mother's ovaries her entire life. So while your mother was a baby infant in the womb of your grandmother, the egg was sitting in there. So you were part of the experience of your grandmother going through pregnancy, and you were part of the experience of your mother's whole life, losing her virginity, her first car, her first day of school, everything she ever experienced, being in the womb, you were there the whole time. Mothers and women are extraordinary, and they are the larger part of creation. We need to love them, respect them, and treat them well.